As England's head coach at the time, I wrote to all my players after they lost to Ireland in the 2001 Six Nations, nearly 25 years ago. The squad missed out on a Grand Slam for the second year in a row after that devastating defeat in Dublin, in a match postponed until October due to a foot-and-mouth outbreak. I wanted to respond by restating a few important and direct points. When I came to Pennyhill Park to meet Steve Borthwick, the current England manager and a former squad member of mine, I never in a million years imagined that I would be reminded of them. Borthwick grinned broadly as he handed me the note, saying, "I love your first couple of paragraphs. There is a lot of wisdom in this letter." "Absolutely No Turning Back" was the title, and I had scribbled a handwritten note to Borthwick at the bottom. It said, "Excellent work. Excellent disposition throughout the week. Nearing the commencement of the match versus Australia. Keep a close eye on everything for the next 2 weeks." You could tell everything about how I felt when I first got the letter from Borthwick. I was taken aback. I was shocked to learn that Borthwick had brought it to our interview in addition to keeping it for so long. It was simply an excellent way to begin the discussion, which I had been eagerly anticipating for a very long time. In 2022, Borthwick called me to arrange a meeting after accepting the England position. I was more than willing to offer any guidance or support I could to a man I had previously worked closely with as a player, and who I sincerely hoped would achieve success. Since then, we have maintained regular communication and met in private on multiple occasions. However, this was our first meeting in public. I save anything that I believe can be useful, such as information that is difficult to share or read in a manual, Borthwick stated. "I was on the bench that day in Ireland. You didn't even put me on, Clive. I made an effort to be informed as a gamer. However, you can never know as much as a coach. I find the letter very memorable. Among many other things, I preserved it. I recall taking notes during the time I played under you and thinking it was a unique setting at the time. The 2003 World Cup winning team did not include me. However, I participated in the planning process and watched the effort you put out to build the best England squad in the world. Being a part of that was fantastic. Success leaves Cleves. You are the most successful coach in English rugby history, since you are the only one to have guided the men's team from England to victory in the World Cup. I think it makes sense to speak to people that way." Naturally, hearing these comments was incredibly pleasant to me, but I hope Borthwick knows that he has all the resources and the opportunity to duplicate my team's achievements. Yes, he is capable of more. It is essential to ask for guidance and be receptive to new information. But the most important thing for a coach is to believe in yourself and your method. Your players react to it that way. I think the fact Borthwick answered the phone says a lot about him. It would have been easier. Speaking with my predecessor, Jack Rowell, I recall doing the same when I assumed the position. The only England coach who has contacted me since I departed is Borthwick. I don't say it to come out as glib, but rather to highlight Borthwick's humility and confidence, in my opinion. When we met this time, I was so delighted by England's progress under Borthwick that I felt it imperative to start by congratulating him on his work. I'm really optimistic about what his squad can do in their next 4 November games, which begin on Saturday against Australia. For England, this autumn is huge. The team's performances in Argentina over the summer, when its best players were playing for the Lions, were particularly noteworthy. I found these matches to be far more interesting and have a much larger narrative than what was happening in Australia. I haven't seen England's national team play with that kind of speed in a long time. Although some players may have been sad to miss out on the Lions, Borthwick obviously had every player chomping at the bit and thrilled to be playing for England. With Argentina, New Zealand, and Fiji following the Wallabies at Twickenham, Borthwick's England team has the opportunity to make a big impression. "I am proud to be English. "This is my nation," Borthwick told me. "I care about this team," his passion for the top position in English rugby evident. "I received the opportunity to lead this team as captain after growing up dreaming to play for it. In 20 or 30 years, I will still be interested in this team, just like you are today. I believe that our team should be the best in the world. I am proud to be coaching my country and proud to be patriotic. I will do my best to ensure our success. You did it. Now you're still invested. Because you want this team to succeed, you have stood with me and are ready to sacrifice your time to provide your expertise. That's a huge credit to you, but it also seems to me that once English rugby is ingrained in you, it stays with you forever." What is Borthwick's England trying to achieve? His answer is clear-cut and completely accurate. To win the 2027 World Cup, he declared. "We want to win this week, but we also want to win the next World Cup." How will we position ourselves to win in 2027? That's how I explain it to the coaches and players. Winning this Saturday is the task. You're not focusing on the present if too many people are planning for the next 2 years. But we are transparent about our long-term goal. My coaching experience has taught me that having a top player at every position on your team is essential to winning a World Cup. And even though Borthwick isn't quite there yet, I think he is coming near to that point right now. I think his team is the best since 2003. England has won their past 7 test matches, and he has an impressive depth of players to choose from. But I think last year's team's success was more than just names on a chart and statistics. Borthwick's team is playing in a way that I believe has the potential to make them a World Cup contender. Speed is crucial in Test rugby. I've always argued. England has been too slow for too long. Not right now. Borthwick has introduced all-court play to English rugby. It has been entertaining besides being successful. That is essential. But there is still room for improvement, which is where selection enters the picture. In the same way that Jason Robinson elevated my team to new heights, I have a strong feeling that a big selection is in the works that could propel this team forward. Who Borthwick chooses at number 10 will be the main focus before the Australia encounter. Will George Ford retain his shirt this summer? Or will Marcus Smith and Finn both return after the Lions tour? But in my opinion, England still has a lot to learn about the midfield, regardless of who plays fly height. Both positions 12 and 13 are not locked at all. They are very important at the highest level, particularly the number 12 jersey, which has always been, in my opinion, the key to success. I think that the core of the team is there. There is consistency, Borthwick remarked. Players cannot constantly be watching their backs. They must experience competition for places, but they must not fear being dropped for a single infraction. You wrote me a letter outlining your expectations for the England team's performance, telling me to play bravely and quickly. The more games players play together, the closer they become to their teammates. And they must also feel encouraged. But ultimately, you are responsible for your decisions as a coach, and you are the only one who knows this. Although they lack responsibility, many people wish to have a say in important matters. We must move from understanding how to win close test matches to entering games with complete confidence that we will win. Secondly, I want the team to believe in our play style. This club features excellent playmakers and a lot of speed. Teams should play fast and aggressive. That against Australia is what I want to see. The fact that Borthwick values having a team composed of tried-and-true combinations becomes immediately obvious during the chat. He wants his players to be aware of the actions of the individual next to them. It is common sense in many respects. Success in international rugby is not aided by switching up a team. Under Borthwick, England seems to be defined by selection consistency. Glory be! The days of Eddie Jones's merry-go-round are long gone. According to Borthwick, A player from outside the group must perform exceptionally well to supplant someone who is already in the room. In my opinion, Borthwick should start Tommy Freeman at outside center. For the Lions, England and Northampton, he has served as a wing trial machine. Freeman, who scored 4 goals for the Saints against the Saracens, seems like a perfect fit for the number 13 shirt. There are a few positions where we're still waiting for someone to come and own the shirt, Borthwick added. I think everyone can see that the center is one of such places. Although there are many talented athletes in that field, we must ensure that the right mix is present. We're working on that, among other things. Fraser Dingwall has a lot of adhesive. He improves other players around him, but you don't see much of what he does. Ollie Lawrence may be a power runner, which is a different kind of number 12. Max Ojimo is performing well, and